Whatever your sun, moon, or rising sign, there is a message in the sky waiting for you.
This is Horoscope TV, your essential guide to astrology.
Welcome back to Horoscope TV. We are kicking off 2026 with a really detailed analysis of the year's astrological blueprint, and this one is custom tailored for our Aries listeners. And this isn't just a brief forecast. We've been analyzing the planetary transits, and they suggest that 2026 is less about gradual change and more about a really profound, necessary transformation.
It is. It's truly a pivotal year, and it's defined by what feels like two distinct acts. We're seeing two powerful, almost, contrasting energies dominating the landscape.
Okay, two of that.
The first half of the year demands intense discipline, structure, maturity. It's all the foundational work that, sets the stage for what's to come.
And so the second act is the payoff.
Precisely. The second half of the year delivers this massive, joyful, expansive luck. But you really can't have the reward without completing the prerequisite labor. We're talking about a transition from a necessary, sometimes demanding grind to the ultimate reward that follows. The data suggests the year begins with a really serious chapter, centered immediately on restructuring personal identity and career ambition.
So the mission for the first half is, well, it's quite mature. Building a stronger, more resilient, and more respected version of yourself.
It is.
And that responsibility, which we see hinted at in the charts as potentially feeling heavy at times, that's not meant as a punishment, right?
Not at all. It's the universe ensuring the structure you build is reliable. It has to be solid.
Because the reward is that big.
Exactly. That structure is vital because the biggest shift happens midsummer, and the second half of the year is marked by the start of a summer of love, kicking off a whole year-long period where romance, creativity, and fun take absolute center stage.
So you're actively stepping into the lightness and the joy you earned earlier.
You earned it. That's the key.
So our mission in this analysis is to provide you with a detailed map. We've broken the entire year down into 5 distinct astrological phases.
This should allow our Aries listeners to anticipate the demanding periods, understand the mechanisms behind the shifts, and, maximize those incredible windows of luck and opportunity. Basically, to navigate 2026 with confidence and full awareness.
Let's get into it.
Okay, let's unpack this opening segment. Section 1, the transformative beginning. This foundational period, it spans from January through April, and it's characterized by this intense structure-building work.
Right. And it's driven initially by your ruler, Mars, and then it's defined by the very serious, very long-term arrival of Saturn.
So we hit the ground running.
Immediately. And surprisingly, the first 3 weeks of the year are not focused on your personal agenda, but on public recognition and professional achievement.
That feels a little counterintuitive for Aries. They often prioritize their own personal projects. Why is the focus so intensely professional right out of the gate?
It really comes down to the synergy, or you could even say the tension between the planet and the sign it's in.
Mars, your ruling planet, the planet of action, impulse, raw drive, is transiting the 10th house of career and public authority. But crucially, it's doing this in the sign of Capricorn.
Ah, Capricorn, the executive.
The executive, inherently structured, strategic, disciplined.
So you have this impatient driving force of Mars, but it's being channeled through the slow, strategic C-suite energy of Capricorn. That explains why the data is so emphatic, calling this the most ambitious window of the entire year.
It's a temporary but hyper-focused blend. It gives you, the Aries listener, the energy of a CEO. It's a natural authority that people just instinctively respect.
So you're not just pushing, you're pushing with a plan.
Exactly. Mars gives you the courage to speak up. But Capricorn ensures you're speaking strategically, not impulsively. This is the perfect moment to present those difficult, high-stakes plans you've been sitting on.
So what's the practical application of this energy? If I'm an Aries listener, what do I do between January 1st and the 23rd?
The actionable advice is crystal clear. This is the time to push for that promotion, launch a major business initiative that requires long-term commitment, or demand exactly what you are worth.
In salary or contract negotiations?
Absolutely. You have to execute those difficult projects immediately. Mars is granting you the stamina, and Capricorn demands the high-quality, structured output.
So if you were thinking of maybe launching a big overhaul or asking for a raise in June, the universe is saying, no, do it now while you have this executive stamina.
Yes, you are setting the tone for the entire serious chapter ahead. It's almost a cosmic test. If you succeed in this high-level goal, the universe sees that you're ready for the next tier of responsibility that Saturn is about to introduce.
So use this Mars energy to get a high-profile win that establishes your authority for the rest of the year.
That's the move.
And if you work for yourself, is it the same energy?
Very much so. This is the time to finalize the major strategic contracts, secure that anchor client, or set the most aggressive Q1 goal you can possibly imagine.
So think of it as peak performance for structured output.
It is. The only caution really is not to burn out right away. Mars in Capricorn can be relentless, but since it's an action planet in an Earth sign, the drive is durable, but only if you pace yourself just a little.
And speaking of responsibility, let's pivot to the main event of the year, which is less about a window of opportunity and, well, more about a complete multi-year paradigm shift.
It really is.
February 13th marks the start of what the data is calling the Body of Steel era. Saturn, the planet of discipline, structure, and karma, enters Aries, your first house of self and health, for the first time in nearly 30 years.
This is monumental. This is a monumental transit. When Saturn, the great teacher, enters your first house, it marks the start of a 2-year cycle of profound physical restructuring and psychological maturity.
Wow.
The gravity of this shift really cannot be overstated because Saturn doesn't deal in surface-level fixes. It demands authenticity and true durable structure. And that's concerning your physical body, your personal goals, and your reputation.
Let's analyze the impact on identity and life path first, because that's really the core of the first house. The data consistently points to a mandate to step into a leadership role.
A transition from student to master.
So people immediately start perceiving you differently.
Instantly. The world sees the weight of your experience, even if you don't feel ready for it yourself. This transit essentially ends the phase of faking it until you make it.
Oh, right.
Aries has to build true, undeniable authority now. And it has to be built on verifiable results and solid, reliable foundations. That reputation you established in January's power play, that now becomes the foundation for Saturn to build upon.
So the heavy workload that a lot of our Aries listeners will feel isn't arbitrary. It's reflecting the world's increased responsibility and trust being placed in them.
Precisely.
The charts explicitly speak of shedding childish ways. What does that actually mean in practical terms for the listener?
It means moving away from impulsive decision-making. It means taking your commitment seriously and realizing that your actions now carry really long-term consequences, both good and bad.
Okay.
Saturn is the planet of time and aging. It forces you to look forward and ask, what kind of legacy am I building? If you act like a respected authority figure, Saturn ensures the world treats you as one.
And if you don't?
If you maintain immature habits, Saturn will deliver lessons until those habits are shed. It's a tough teacher.
That makes the shift in perception very clear. The moment Saturn enters Aries, the clock starts on building the most serious version of your adult self. Now let's pivot to health and wellness, because Saturn, hitting the first house, targets the physical body directly.
Absolutely. This is the reality check for the body. Saturn rules crystallization, density, structure. So physically, this often translates to a direct focus on the densest parts of the body.
Like what?
Bones, teeth, skin structure, and building endurance. Aries might initially feel older, heavier, or maybe more tired than usual as the body starts to demand proper structure.
That is a fascinating link. Why specifically bones and teeth?
Because Saturn demands the structural foundation be solid. If you've spent the last decade neglecting bone density or your sleep structure or skipping dental work, Saturn ensures those physical foundations demand your attention. We see a strong emphasis on prioritizing sleep because true physical endurance is built during rest and checking your dental health. Ignoring these structural elements now means those chronic issues are cemented into your long-term physical reality.
So if you've been ignoring that nagging joint pain or skipping the deep cleaning, Saturn is essentially presenting the accountability invoice.
That's a perfect way to put it.
What's the recommended strategy for navigating this 2-year cycle successfully?
The strategy here is crucial. Focus on consistency over intensity.
Okay.
Frantic, high-impact training that risks injury won't satisfy Saturn. The planet favors longevity. So the transits recommend disciplines like yoga, Pilates, or weight training that's focused heavily on impeccable form and slow, steady progression.
You're building a body designed to last.
You are. And the warning is severe. Ignoring chronic aches now means they become permanent. You must fix them immediately. Seek professional help for diagnosis and long-term resolution. Saturn offers a durable fix, but only if you commit to the work required.
So the body you end this 2-year transit with will be the body you rely on for the next 30 years. It's Truly high-stakes physical architecture.
It is. And, psychologically, Saturn also brings boundaries. Aries will spend time realizing where they need stronger boundaries, who they let into their life, what they commit to, and where they need to say a firm no.
That psychological boundary setting is just as important as the physical structuring.
It's all connected.
After the intensity of Saturn settling in, it looks like the universe sends in a welcome energy shift, sort of a second wind.
It does.
Spring brings a powerful magnetic boost, courtesy of two key planetary placements in Aries, focusing on personal magnetism and raw drive, all within the context of that new structure Saturn is demanding.
This is where Aries gets to test drive the new structure. You've accepted the responsibility, and now you get the high-octane energy to match it. You're feeling good, and you're projecting a newfound confidence.
Let's break down the magnetism first. March 6th to March 30th features Venus, the planet of charm and value, moving through Aries. This is the annual glow-up.
Venus in your own sign is highly advantageous because it harmonizes with your personal identity. You look good, you feel intrinsically attractive, and others are just naturally drawn to you.
The best time in the first half of the year for attraction and dating.
For sure. You feel clearer about your personal identity. That structure built by Saturn is now being polished by Venus, and this clarity helps you attract a better match. Someone who aligns with the mature version of yourself.
The actionable advice here sounds simple and fun. This is your time for maximum effort with minimum friction.
Exactly. Update the dating profile, buy that high-quality new outfit. Venus rules quality and value, remember? And just put yourself out there. It's a period of effortless appeal that you should absolutely leverage.
Now, compare that magnetic ease to the next phase, which sounds like pure acceleration. April 9th to May 18th, when Mars, your ruling planet, comes home to Aries again in the first house.
This is pure, undiluted Aries energy. The ruler in its domicile. The data is clear. Physical vitality, drive, and libido are described as sky high. This is the ultimate self-starter period. You are bursting with life force.
For career and self-startup projects, independence is key.
Paramount. This energy provides the courage and stamina to start a solo business, go on aggressive interviews, or market yourself relentlessly without needing anyone else's approval. You won't wait for permission. You will simply act.
This is the energy to break out of any holding pattern you might have been in.
It is.
And in love and dating, that drive translates directly to boldness.
You will be direct, you will make the first move, and the chart suggests that intense high-energy chemistry is heavily favored. This is not the time for timid flirtation.
However, this Mars in Aries placement, while it's potent, it comes with a serious wellness warning we have to address.
Yeah.
The charts describe this as the red zone for vitality.
Yes. While muscle memory is unbeatable, and it's excellent for, say, training for a race or breaking physical records, we have to remember that Aries rules the head, inflammation, and heat.
So maximizing the physical drive requires serious caution. What specific issues should the listener watch out for during this high-energy window?
You need to watch for inflammation, tension, headaches, fevers, or accidents that are caused by impatience or haste. Mars is sharp and fast.
Right.
So you must be highly careful with speed driving too fast, rushing projects, and with sharp objects. The strategy is to channel that intensity into structured, goal-oriented activity like endurance training and avoid letting it become volatile, impulsive rage, or recklessness. This is a time to master the heat, not be consumed by it.
We transition smoothly from the intense personal overhaul of Q1, fueled by Saturn's discipline and Mars's drive, into a major focus on stability and financial growth in Section 2.
It feels like the hard work you put in during January and the physical stamina you built in March and April now directly translate into material results.
This section represents a welcome grounding.
It does. The financial environment for Aries has been tumultuous for years, but this spring and early summer bring critical stability and two major income-generating phases.
April 25th is a massive day. This is the day Uranus, the planet of unpredictable sudden change, finally leaves Taurus.
Which is the Aries' second house of money and self-worth.
And it has been there for approximately 7 years.
This is a huge 7-year cycle closing. The transit data refers to this as the definitive end of the era of feast or famine. Uranus in the money sector creates erratic income surprise bonuses one month, surprise bills the next. It often leads to a profound psychological uncertainty about financial security.
7 years of that must have been absolutely exhausting for the listener. So what is the new normal?
The new normal is predictability. That erratic energy is finally gone. This allows you to build a budget that actually works and sticks. Uranus operates outside of conventional structure. But Aries, having just started this Saturn structure transit, is now perfectly poised to appreciate and utilize this newfound stability. The financial roller coaster stops.
And the connection to career is highly specific here.
It is. This transition highly favors moving away from unreliable income streams, like constant gig work or unstable contract income, toward a steady, reliable paycheck or a stable revenue foundation after April.
So if you've been relying on 5 different sources of income just to keep things balanced,
This shift encourages you to consolidate and rely on 1 or 2 solid anchors.
so if you've been working hard to find that stable executive role or secure long-term funding for a project, the universe stops fighting your efforts after April 25th. You can finally build a house on solid ground, not shifting sand.
Exactly. This allows the financial structure you are building to finally harmonize with the structural demands Saturn is placing on your identity. Reliability is the keyword here.
Even as Uranus prepares to depart, the spring provides the optimal earning environment, divided into 2 distinct, highly profitable phases that rely on 2 very different planetary styles.
Yes, and phase 1 starts first. Easy money, which runs from March 30th to April 24th. This is Venus, the money planet, in Taurus, which is the 2nd house of money. This is the ideal setup.
Tell us about the vibe of easy money. How does this manifest practically?
The vibe is magnetic and pretty effortless. Because Venus rules value and Taurus governs material assets, money tends to come easily. This can manifest as an unexpected bonus, a sudden well-deserved raise, or just strong customer interest appearing with minimal marketing effort. It's your annual money magnet month.
Okay.
And what's more, it's an excellent time to buy items that hold or appreciate in value, like quality jewelry, investment-grade clothing, or even minor aesthetic improvements to your home.
So you attract wealth, and you're also guided to spend it wisely on assets that endure rather than fleeting pleasures.
Precisely. Then the energy shifts dramatically into phase 2, aggressive earning from May 18th to June 28th.
Okay, what's happening then?
We now have Mars pure drive in Taurus, still occupying the 2nd house. The focus shifts entirely from attracting to actively hunting for wealth.
So the energy changes from magnetic appeal to sheer, focused effort.
This is the time to break your income records. For those in sales, commission-based work, or business ownership, this is the highest profitability window of the year. You have the stamina and drive to work overtime, relentlessly chase clients, and negotiate aggressively for every single penny.
So if you've been hesitant about asking for a significant pay bump, this Mars energy grants you the necessary courage and focused determination to succeed.
Absolutely.
That sounds incredibly potent,
Yeah.
but Mars can be impulsive. What is the critical warning during this phase?
The drive to earn is matched precisely by the urge to spend instantly and impulsively. Taurus loves comfort and quality, and Mars acts quickly. You might feel this intense, immediate urge to buy large items, a new car, expensive gadgets, or major home upgrades without adequate deliberation.
So the strategy to manage this energy is crucial. How do we maximize the aggressive earning without succumbing to the impulsive spending?
You must implement the mandatory 24-hour waiting period.
Okay.
Before making any purchase over a set threshold, say $500. That small pause allows the Mars impulsivity to subside and gives the Taurus common sense a chance to kick in. You maximize the hunt for wealth while maintaining the financial structure you've worked so hard to establish this year.
If the first half of 2026 was the disciplined, structured climb up the mountain, fueled by Saturn and Mars, Section 3 is the glorious arrival at the summit.
It really is.
This covers the year's main event, the arrival of Jupiter, the great benefic, and a powerful solar eclipse, injecting incredible, expansive luck and pure fun.
June 30th is the major turning point. Jupiter, the planet of expansion, luck, and abundance, enters Leo, which is Aries' 5th house. This begins a year-long cycle that only occurs once every 12 years. This is not a subtle shift. It's a wholesale replacement of the first half's serious tone with unadulterated joy.
And this transit into the 5th house of romance, creativity, and children is the defining feature of the second half of 2026, especially for the Aries romantic life. The love life wakes up in a big way.
That's an understatement. The 5th house is about creative self-expression, joy, and the things you produce, whether that's a baby, an artwork, or a whirlwind romance. And Jupiter expands whatever it touches.
Right.
So having spent the first half of the year building a mature, solid self, thanks to Saturn, the kind of people you attract now are significantly higher quality and share your new, optimistic outlook.
So for those who are single, this sounds like the best romantic forecast in a decade.
It is. The pool of potential partners improves significantly. This is the best time in over a decade to meet someone genuinely special, someone with a grand, generous personality typical of Leo, and fall deeply in love. The transit favors dramatic, movie-style romances and meeting people in social, fun, or creative environments.
And for those who are attached, how does this energy manifest?
The spark returns, often intensely. Jupiter favors grand gestures, fun dates, travel, and a definite return to a honeymoon phase.
I see.
If you and your partner have been going through a discipline phase, this is the time to splurge on a luxurious trip, focus entirely on play, and enjoy the fruits of your shared efforts. The potential for having a baby or bringing more children into the family also increases significantly during this generous cycle.
Jupiter in the fifth house also lights up career and creativity, moving the focus from the strict, sometimes joyless structure of the earlier part of the year to joyful, authentic self-expression.
This is excellent news for anyone in the creative fields, entrepreneurs, artists, actors, or those in entertainment and leisure. Your creative risks, which Aries loves to take, are suddenly backed by immense luck.
So this is the energy that helps you successfully turn a hobby or a passion project into a viable business venture.
Yes, simply because you are operating from a place of genuine joy and confidence, which is highly magnetic.
So if you've been sitting on a manuscript, a business concept, or a portfolio, this is the year to launch it aggressively. Trusting a timing is perfect.
Absolutely. Think of it as the universe giving you a spotlight. But we must analyze the impact on money, specifically fun money, because Jupiter expands everything, including the appetite for spending.
We've established financial structure, but now Jupiter encourages extravagance.
It does. Jupiter encourages feeling lucky, and this often translates to potential gains through speculative investment stocks, creative monetization efforts, or even winning small lotteries. But the energy also encourages spending lavishly on the objects of the fifth house. Enjoyable experiences, parties, children, and vacations. Aries must manage that intense burn-a-hole-in-your-pocket feeling, ensuring the spending on fun doesn't destabilize the structure Saturn demanded earlier.
This sounds like a wonderful antidote to the Saturnian seriousness, especially concerning mental health and wellness.
The mental health boost is profound. You feel optimistic, confident, lighthearted, the heaviness of responsibility lifts. Health actually becomes fun again.
Fun.
Yes. Activities that raise the heart rate through joy dancing, passionate team sports, adventurous hiking, or simply running around with children are highly favored. Astrologically, this transit is often described as opening the heart chakra, aligning your joy with your physical well-being.
That's a lovely image. The hard-won maturity now paired with boundless joy.
And this expansive energy also affects how you lead. Saturn made you an authority figure, but Jupiter makes you an inspiring, generous leader. People are drawn to your confidence and enthusiasm, making collaboration effortless.
If Jupiter brings the expansion, the total solar eclipse in Leo, still in that fifth house, on August 12th, is the massive trigger. Eclipses are always intense, and this one is described as a destined, heart-opening event.
Eclipses represent fated change. They close one door and open another with blinding speed, bringing unexpected, often life-altering surprises. And since this one is in the fifth house of joy and destiny, the change is focused intensely on love and creativity.
What kind of life-changing surprise should the listener anticipate?
We're talking about sudden, massive shifts. This could be a huge creative breakthrough that was years in the making but bursts onto the scene in a single day. Or a new romance that completely alters your future trajectory, a quintessential whirlwind love affair.
Wow.
This might also manifest as a surprise announcement regarding children, or the sudden start of a major shared creative or artistic project with a partner.
And professionally, this is described as a breakout moment. The recognition you've been subtly working toward suddenly arrives in the public eye.
It's your spotlight moment for your professional portfolio. You might get suddenly recognized for a specific talent that you'd previously considered just a hobby, or you could launch a product or service that goes unexpectedly viral overnight.
Okay.
The combined energy of Jupiter's expansion and the eclipse's sudden trigger guarantees a memorable moment of public, often faded, recognition. This is where the world sees the brilliant, creative, joyful new person Aries has become.
The glorious summer high must eventually give way to a necessary period of review. Section 4 covers the autumn, and it seems dominated by a deep, introspective energy.
It is, specifically the Venus retrograde, which requires the Aries listener to meticulously review their internal and external balance sheets.
This is the universe hitting the pause button after the exuberance of summer.
Exactly. October 3rd to November 13th is a heavy, slow 6-week period. Venus retrogrades first through Scorpio, which is the 8th house of shared resources and intimacy, and then it moves back into Libra, the partnership house. This is deep, clean work on joint affairs, debts, and deep emotional issues.
Let's start with the analysis of shared finance and debt, as the 8th house governs other people's money, taxes, inheritance, debt, and funding.
Right.
So since Venus rules money and value, what financial challenges must Aries navigate?
The challenge is stagnation and delays. Retrogrades cause things to move backward or internally. So Aries should anticipate funding delays. This could be an insurance payout, a tax return that gets held up, a loan approval process that stalls, or even fluctuations in a partner's income that cause temporary stress.
So it's an environment where money from external sources is just unavailable or unpredictable.
For a time, yes.
So what's the absolutely crucial strategy during these 6 weeks to avoid long-term pain?
The list of don'ts is critical here. Do not sign new partnership agreements, take out large business loans, propose marriage, or commit to major joint financial ventures.
Why not?
Contracts signed during a Venus retrograde often involve hidden flaws or a painful renegotiation of values later on. Instead, you use this time to plug existing financial leaks, pay off old debt, actively pursue and collect debts owed to you, and conduct a rigorous review of investment portfolios, wills, and insurance policies. This is all about organization and remediation, not expansion.
We have a specific financial date here, October 26th, a full moon in Taurus. How does this date fit into the retrograde confusion?
That full moon is a moment of financial climax and intense illumination. Even amidst the delays and the confusion of the retrograde, this moment helps Aries see the absolute truth about their spending habits, the true value of their assets, and their existing financial obligations. It offers a moment of stark clarity.
So you can use that clarity to finalize your debt repayment plan.
Exactly.
Now let's analyze the other side of the 8th house, love, intimacy, and trust. This period is consistently described as the relationship test.
It is, and intimacy issues are guaranteed to surface because the 8th house demands vulnerability, and Venus retrograde forces a review of relational values. Old exes often reappear, demanding closure or resolution.
Oh, wow.
And for those in current partnerships, unresolved issues regarding trust, power dynamics, or shared money inevitably come to the surface. It's pretty much unavoidable because the universe is asking for deep, adult honesty that the relationship requires to move forward into Saturn's long-term structure.
This sounds intensely difficult, but the reward for surviving it must be immense.
Absolutely. This is a time for deep healing and honesty. If a relationship can survive this transit, if you commit to couples therapy, if you have those deep, uncomfortable, honest talks about money and vulnerability, it is usually built to last the next decade.
And if not?
Superficial or convenient relationships tend to break under the pressure of the 8th house retrograde's intensity, leaving you with clarity on true commitment.
Finally, let's look at health and psychological stress, which must be high during this transformative time.
It can be. Deep psychological stress often manifests physically when the 8th house is activated, as it governs the body's transformative and regenerative systems. Hormonal fluctuations or reproductive health issues might surface and demand review and healing.
So what's the fix?
Since the 8th house is associated with purging, the fix involves active detoxing and releasing stored trauma. This is the time for lymphatic drainage, deep tissue massage to release tension, or a medically supervised detox diet to actively release trauma stored in the body. You are finishing the cleaning house process, both financially and physiologically.
It's the ultimate necessary friction before the year ends clean.
It is. We've navigated the intensity of the relationship test and the financial review. Now, Section 5 provides the final, detailed push, organizing the logistics and optimizing routines for a perfectly clean start to 2027.
We shift gears entirely from deep emotional issues to meticulous detail. November 25th marks the return of highly productive, efficient energy as Mars, the action planet, enters Virgo,
which is the 6th house of health, daily routine, and service. This is a beautiful closing energy. The year ends on a highly productive, busy, and efficient note. The focus shifts entirely from the glamorous, creative risks of summer and the heavy emotional lifts of autumn back to mundane details and organization.
Aries might initially find Virgo's need for perfection a little frustrating.
They might, but the results will be undeniable.
So the goal here is powering through that final quarter to-do list and setting up systems that guarantee efficiency in the coming year. It's the antithesis of the Jupiterian fun of summer. It's the dedicated focus on the machine itself, your workflow and daily rituals.
You will find yourself obsessing over organization. You'll be incredibly busy, often focused on service-oriented tasks or cleaning up residual messes from the summer. But the satisfaction comes from seeing a huge amount of tasks completed efficiently and reliably.
And this energy helps Aries build sustainable habits, which is crucial reinforcement for the structure Saturn is demanding.
That's the key.
This high motivation must be excellent for health and diet right before the holiday season hits.
It is the optimal time for details, systems, and cleaning up the physical machine. The data labels this the best time of the year to hire a nutritionist, overhaul the diet, test for food sensitivities, organize vitamin supplements, or start a new biohacking routine focused on measurable results.
You're obsessed with efficiency.
And the body will respond quickly to clean eating and structured exercise during this specific period.
So, if the Saturn transit in February demanded the commitment to a body of steel, this final transit provides the daily motivation and attention to detail required to lock in those healthy habits before the year ends.
Precisely. You are perfecting the physical manifestation of the structure you decided to build back in February. It connects the start of the year perfectly with the close.
As the year closes, the financial and emotional fog that settled during the retrograde must lift. What does December look like emotionally now that the review is complete?
Once Venus goes direct in mid-November and corrects its course, the clearing happens almost instantly. All the issues reviewed, the debts, the trust issues, the resurfacing X's are now settled, or at least understood and resolved. The path forward in partnership and finance is clear.
And the passion returns, but it sounds like it's deepened, right? Not the surface-level attraction of the spring.
Exactly. Venus enters Scorpio on December 4th, moving into a sign focused on emotional depth. The passion is deeper, more emotional, built on the vulnerability and honesty that Aries was forced to practice during the retrograde.
So it's not the flashy chemistry that came with Venus and Aries.
No, it's a sustainable, committed connection based on true depth and trust.
So the listener ends the year having achieved crucial clarity in the two most complex areas of life, finance and partnership.
Exactly. They end the year knowing exactly who they can trust and who they want to be with for the long haul, because those people survived the relationship test. The mature structure demanded by Saturn in February is finally supported by the emotional honesty and true balance established during the autumn review. It's a very solid, mature, and deeply grounded ending, ready for a stable 2027.
So what does this all mean for the Aries listener navigating 2026? We started the year with a serious mission, building structure and earning respect through disciplined effort. We moved into a summer of massive fun, luck and love, the expansive reward, and we finished with a necessary, deep autumn review of our most intimate and shared resources.
The overarching narrative is clear and cyclical. Intense discipline leads directly to joyful expansion, but only if you are willing to commit to the hard foundational work of the first half. It's an exchange of effort for reward.
Let's quickly review the most critical dates so you have them mapped out.
Okay, the best window for career ambition and demonstrating authority. That's the concentrated push of Mars and Capricorn. January 1st to January 23rd, hit the ground running.
And the best dates for love and joy, the time to truly maximize the fun and creativity.
That would be the Jupiter transit and the eclipse window. So June 30th through August 12th.
For financial stability and predictability, when does the 7-year roller coaster finally stop?
April 25th onwards, once Uranus is done shaping up your income.
And the dates to handle with the most care, the time when you must delay major financial commitments, partnership decisions, or marriage proposals.
The Venus retrograde, October 3rd through November 13th. Review, don't rush.
Right.
And here's where we connect back to the start of the year and the longevity of this experience. The Saturn transit is about building a body and a reputation that lasts for decades. It demands a durable, adult structure that cannot be easily compromised.
This raises the final provocative thought for you to reflect on as you move through 2026. The question is not just what you are building this year, a better career, a healthier body, a successful business, but who you are building it for. You are building the mature, respected authority figure you are becoming. Focus on the difference between seeking short-term gain and committing to that long-term lasting structure. That difference is the core lesson of this entire year.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Horoscope TV. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow the show so you don't miss the next forecast. Can't wait for the next episode? You don't have to. Get more astrology insights and read your daily horoscope right now at horoscope.tv. That's horoscope.tv. We'll see you in the next episode.